It looks like we're about to get a rain flight in, guys. I wanted to get another flight in on this glider. Man. Which way is the wind blowing? I guess it don't matter with this 13x8. Let's go. Yeah, it does not matter with that 13x8 prop, man. There's so much thrust. There is a ton of thrust, man. For even with how much weight is on this glider, it doesn't matter. I mean, this thing has epoxied fuselage, epoxy wings, and it pulls up with no issues, zero throttle, and we're going to glide this baby. Oh, we got thermal activity today, so I guess on these humid, rainy type days, there's a lot of thermal activity. We're gonna use a little bit of elevator to keep us up, and we're gonna use our rudder to turn it. We're not gonna use, I found out that you're more efficient by using your rudder to turn this thing and not the ailerons. I feel like using the ailerons uses a bit more of its energy, but if you just use the elevator and the rudder, I feel like it does pretty well. Obviously, it's not as agile as using ailerons, but I feel like it gives you enough authority where you're not bleeding off energy so much. And this is still zero throttle, man. I'll put throttle cut on.
Throttle cut.
So throttle cut is on, man. And she's gliding very well. I am having to give a little elevator, so I might have to adjust the elevator slightly on this, but yeah, if I don't hold the elevator, it does kind of dip down. So flying this thing, man. Oh yeah. Wow. I used to think big gliders didn't glide that much, but man, I feel like you just got to have the right conditions for it, because we've been up for a few minutes now, all zero throttle, man. Let's get off the elevator. There we go. You do kind of have to use your elevator to manipulate your turns, which is a little weird, using just rudder and elevator. It's definitely a different feel, but I do feel like it doesn't bleed off as much power as using your aileron. So yeah, I mean, I feel that realistically, if you really wanted to glide this thing, you could probably fly this without ailerons. I feel like this thing would fly pretty well with just elevator and rudder, man. Because this thing's flying amazing. Obviously, if you want to do rolls and stunts, you need ailerons, obviously, but I should have started a timer for how long I can glide this thing, because it's still gliding. And I know there are people saying not to add epoxy to the wings, or don't add epoxy, you're just adding weight, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like this plane, I feel like it handles the wind better with a little more weight to it. Your wings are so huge that it can carry that weight pretty easily. Let's turn the throttle back on. So you can hear throttle cut and then armed. So we didn't turn the motor on yet. It's still free spinning. So we do have to, with this ESC, I have to figure out how to enable the brake, because it's still free spinning, which obviously kills energy off. So it glided that whole time with the front prop free spinning. So we got half throttle here, and it flies very well with half throttle. With the 10-inch prop, I had to go about 70% throttle to really fly this thing. But with a 13-inch prop, half throttle, quarter, you can really fly this with low amounts of throttle. Let's climb up. Yeah, we got our onboard footage, so this is gonna be sick. And I got my 360 camera that can watch me. It can capture some of the low flights, but the 360 camera is not gonna capture this thing way up in the air. Let's get some low passes in. Here we go. (13/8) prop is quick, man. And I believe when I looked at the prop calculator on 4S with this 850 kV, it's calling for about 70 to 80 miles per hour of speed. I think the max was like 85. So it's no slouch. You're still gonna cover ground with this low kV. So we got our speed going again. A little bit of rudder in that turn. We're using the ailerons now, obviously, to get it more. Here's another low pass. About 70% throttle. And it sounds really well. We were able to put that plastic stock spinner in front of the metal folding prop adapter so that we could have that cone on the front, which, gives it a little bit more efficiency. Probably not much, but it does have the cone on the nose of it. At least it looks cool. It does stick out a lot further than the factory position, but let's get back on 0 throttle. Use our aileron and do our coordinated turns now. Get back on. I think we are going to send this baby up, man. Let's go. Time to send her up. Full throttle. Get our climb going against the wind. It's easier to climb against the wind than with the wind. We got a pretty good climb rate on this thing, man. Going up, 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 up. And obviously we have 2.4 ELRS in there. And the antenna is inside of the body. We are up there, man. Let's get off the throttle. Turn it back around. Yeah. So now we're really using it as a glider now, man. Let's turn the throttle cuts on. And we are up there gliding. Oh yeah, there's definitely some thermals up there. For sure. Let's go full manual. And now that speed has increased. All zero throttle doing all stunts. Which is pretty fun, man. This gives you that real glider feel, man. There we are. Let's get the throttle back on. And now we'll try some loops, some power loops. We did loops with no throttle. Now let's get up a bit and do some loops with the throttle. And now. Inverted. Off the throttle. Back on. Inverted. Roll out of it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those wings are holding on, man. That epoxy on there. It's flexing, but not a lot, you know? These wings are also stiffer than maybe the 2-meter wings. There's a longer cord on these, so the wing is indeed longer. Oh yeah. Angle mode. There we go. Back on angle mode. And I think we're gonna go ahead and get this baby ready for landing, man. I think we're gonna use the main runway to land this time. So let's bring her in. Hopefully my microphone is reaching. But we're coming fast for this. It's coming in hot. May have to come back around. Yep. Bring it back around. We'll have to come in steep and then slow down at the bottom. So turning it around, zero throttle now. Come over these power lines and then we'll get low. And then we'll try to bleed that speed off. There we are. Use that rudder to spin it around, baby. Nice.